We'll be back here on the platform speaking with young entrepreneurs, we should call them that, who are forming, have formed Daniel's Den.
Yes.
How long have you had it formed?
This is a vision that has been in the works for years, but the actual implementation has been going on for the last about, we would say about last 2 to 3 months.
I'm curious, why didn't you do it in New Jersey?
I just graduated from Seton Hall University, and like I said, when I was visiting here, you know, I fell in love with the place. So I said, you know, I've always wanted to just go, you know, branch out, you know, and I said, you know, what better place to do it than the Bahamas? And so when I came here, you know, and I started, you know, thinking of, you know, how can I contribute to the Bahamas while still, you know, being able to benefit from the beauty of the Bahamas. I said, this is the place for it.
Okay.
Ms. Knowles, you live here.
Yes,
Why do you think that such a program or an entity would work here? What do you see that is needed by young people?
well, first of all, somewhere to go. And something, I think we need more options. And I just have to take it back and think about myself. Growing up and even now, I find that just to stay out of problems or issues, I might need to just stay home because I can't seem to find or often find an environment that fosters such that loving and positive feeling. And I myself, I'm a musician and I do artwork. And I want somewhere where I can actually exhibit all of this. I love discussions and debates, but it's just difficult to find an atmosphere. And sometimes when you go, you'll find a person or two, but not particularly a full group. And if I have more of that, I think it would make me and others feel like we have a support system. It would help in character building. And I had to fall back on a lot of these things, such as art and music, in order to keep strong. It helped to build my self-esteem. So I think it'll be beneficial to other people. And because I am a Bahamian, and I am a young person, I think this is a similar thing with other people here.
How are you going to keep order in such an environment?
Order.
Yeah, how are you going to keep the rowdy and
The riffraff.
uncouth?
Well,
That's why
Out.
That's why we chose Sandyport as a prime location. Not only does the plaza that we're catering this venue have its own security, we have our own personal security at the establishment, at the venue. But you have to also understand the ambiance that we're setting. You know, this isn't your typical club where, you know, you hear that song and it puts you in the mood, and then somebody bumps into you and you're like, what's your problem? You know, this is a place that really hosts and fosters that culture of love, you know, and it's that smooth ambiance, that smooth, mellow, neo soul feel to it.
we have to set the pace.
When you really walk into the establishment, when you walk into the Daniels, then you feel it's that. How can I put it?
So this is not the place for American hip hop music and rap music,
You know what?
and that kind of stuff.
I would take it one over. This is a place for sophistication. That's it. That doesn't mean that someone who listens to hip hop music or rap music or enjoys it or appreciates it can't appreciate Daniel's Den. You can walk in here and you really feel like you're in a place of sophistication. There's art up on the wall.
Yeah, bougie.
You know, it's well, you know what? I don't necessarily say bougie because bougie has a negative connotation. I say sophisticated because it has a positive connotation, and that's exactly what we're pushing: positive energy. You know, we're trying to encourage people to be positive, not to be negative, not to think of things in a negative way. We really want them to appreciate what's going on. You know, and so when you walk in there, and yes, there is a dress code, but when you walk in there, you're coming in there prepared to enjoy this atmosphere, not to downgrade it. You know, we teach people to appreciate it. You know. And so it causes them to be transfected by this culture, by this environment. And the ambiance just begins to create a positive environment. You can begin thinking in a different way, you know?
It's about having faith as well. Another way to keep order is once people come in and realize that they can explore themselves in positive ways or get to know who they are, it can reduce some of the negative behavior or any negative feelings that people have, and that's just a way to control. I have faith that in time, or just because of the atmosphere, people can dig deep and bring out the best in them.
You know, one of the issues facing young people in our country is conflict resolution.
Mm-hmm.
How will the Daniels Den address that kind of issue or concern?
Probably in some of our forums, like the discussions, and then we'll use
Workshops.
Mm-hmm.
See, what it is that the Daniels Den is not just confined only to the poetry and to the spoken word and to the music. It's going to be a place where we host intellectual discussions and forums and workshops. And with that being said, I'm glad that you brought in hip-hop, is because we take the influences that the hip-hop culture has, and the negative connotations that the hip-hop culture has, and we use the positivity in that, because despite what a lot of people believe, there's a lot of positivity in that, but we harness, we don't focus on the negative, we harness on the positive, shed light, and we see that, you know, a lot of the things, when you really listen to the lyrics, you know, there's a lot of positive messages in it. The problem is that people aren't taking time to actually listen to the message, and they're just getting caught up in a facade or what they believe that these people have to go through, you know? And if you really listen to a lot of the hip-hop artists, you know, in their spare time, in their interviews, they tell you, this is not my life, you know? This is not what I do. And they pushing this, you know, and you really have to dig deep and harness in on the positivity. And like Cyrus was saying, this is our culture. Our culture is positivity, and this is what we're pushing.
You heard Messina's talk about conflict resolution, and we talk on this program all the time about the importation of negative influences in the Bahamas, in our country, and trying to better socialize our people. But you are going for, apparently, people who are already properly socialized, aren't you?
Well, this isn't, it's not an exclusive place just for them type of people, okay? We are developing programs right now that are going to be reaching out into the community, okay? Reaching out into troubled teens, providing an intervention for them, trying to provide different economical options for people, you know, like that. So it's not just a place for people who have sophisticated tastes.
But what we're doing is when persons come there with that sophisticated taste, we actually, instead of just keeping it to self, we want them to actually share it, be an influence, explain or express to somebody how to revamp themselves to get to that point as well.
See, what you have to understand is that enlightenment is the key. You know, once you enlighten someone and turn someone on into an idea, and then they begin to see how they can be a part of the solution, and provide that venue for the solution, then they're more likely to engage into it. And what you have to understand too is that the next generation of influencers, when you talk about the next generation of rappers or poets or artists or these people who will be in the media, because we know that media has a very high influence on culture. So, you know, when we say that, you have to target these next individuals who are going to be the next influencers. You know what I'm saying? The next influential leaders. And then by targeting those influential leaders, they will be the ones who their message will now be able to target the younger ones, you know?
You have negative forces all around.
Right.
I come to the Daniels Den to get a glass of wine, but I got a joint in my pocket, right? Or I go in the bathroom and I take a hit. How are you going to deal with that?
Well, for one, smoking your weed in Daniels Den is illegal. But aside from that, you know, you can't force people to change. You can only allow the positivity in you to just exude and just allow that to influence people. We're talking about influence here. See, to say that it's exclusive for people who are only, you know, sophisticated is to say that people who aren't can't be. Or to say that people can't change. Or to say that people can't better themselves. I believe everybody has the potential to better themselves. So now we create an environment where people can come in and be exposed to that type of environment.
Yeah, but you got these negative forces.
Right, you do have negative forces. But let me ask you this. If you think about negative forces all the time, then all that happens are negative things. So what we do is we focus on the positive forces. All you can do is put out positivity. You see what I'm saying?
And just set rules and boundaries to try and curb negative things. If something like that happens, you'll just have to enforce it. It's illegal. You can leave or stay, but we also plan to act decent. We're not going to come down somebody's throat or cause an issue. We can talk it out. You can leave and come again when you put the joint down.
In essence, it won't be tolerated.
No, it won't be.
You know, we've seen young women scantily clad. Huh? And apparently these days, women go out looking as, I don't know, I mean, they want to wear, they want to expose everything apparently.
Practically lingerie.
Practically lingerie, that's right, you got it. You're going to have a dress code?
Yes. Yes, we will have a dress code. You know, it's moderation and taste, you know. On the surface, you can, and let me put it this way though. When you try to tell someone, right, that they can't wear jeans, and then they come in slacks, but, you know, somehow they still find a way to manipulate the dress code just to come in. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, right. Okay. We're trying to teach people how to put on their sophistication, not just abide by a law. Does that make sense? If you just abide by a law, you almost make the essence of something of no effect.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's almost more of a heart thing. It's more of a mind thing. It's less of a, can I wear my hat in here or not? Because, quite honestly, we don't really want you to have any restrictions. Just dress decently, you know?
Right.
But, you know.
But you know, dressing decently today apparently has a different meaning from when Godfrey was a young man, a young boy. I mean, you know, dressing decently today for young people is basically wearing lingerie in public.
But what you also have to understand is that, and now that goes again into influence, you know, and culture, and what are these forces that are affecting or influencing the culture. And when you see that there are other individuals, you know, who are just like you know, but can wear their clothes, you know, when it's time to be professional, they can put on a suit, and when it's time to, you know, just go out to the fish fry, you know, to Air Waikiki, you can have on your jeans and your boots and your hat, but it's not about, you know, what Cyrus was saying is, it's learning how to appreciate yourself and respect yourself, learning key values and principles, and learning how to, you know, just, there's a time and place for everything, and there's a certain way to do everything.
Okay, good. We're going to resume our conversation, but we have to take this commercial break here, and we'll come right back.